Hey everyone, I just wanted to share with you guys another very interesting concept that I have found is very useful. And it's also something that's a correlation between very successful people. And it's been backed up with scientific studies. So, what this is basically very simple. It's basically most successful people have set goals, and a lot of them have not only set goals, but they remind themselves of their goals every day or every week. And most importantly, they write down their goals with a pen and paper. There's something magical about that. Not maybe not magical, but I think it's just that when you write it down, it does something very simple, like remind you, rather than if you type it or just glance at it or say think of it in your head. It's too fleeting or quick, or like everything else on the internet, that it doesn't really register as well. So I found that a few millionaires have said similar stuff. Grant Cardone, he has a net worth of $100 million. Um, he says even to this day, and I've seen a few lectures by him recently. He says even to this day, he writes all his goals out and reminds himself multiple times every single day, which is so obscene. Like, that's such a time drain, and for him to do it, it must be important. So basically, he says he does it when he wakes up, and then he does it when he goes to sleep, and then he does it like maybe one or two more times throughout the day, every day. And he's already has a lot of money. Um, and Now let's get to the scientific studies on this. So it's funny because a lot of this stuff pops up in different books, somewhat related books. I was reading Emotional Intelligence, not the sequel, the original. And I was also reading The One Thing by Gary Keller. And I believe it may have come up a third time in another book. But anyhow, there's this scientific study done, actually two. So the first one is that they sampled, or they surveyed about a few hundred MBA students from an MBA school, and then they measured all sorts of different criteria and qualities of these MBA students, and then they saw them again a few years later. And what they found was that the only real measure of the ones that were very successful compared to the others was that the ones who were very successful about they all wrote down their goals with pen and paper. And then there's a gradient. It's like there's 10% of people who um, wrote down their goals, and those were the most successful. Then there was about like 30% who didn't write down their goals, but they had goals in their minds, and they were successful, but not as successful as the 10% group. And then there's the rest of the people, the other 60%, and they were the most successful that many years later. But again, these are MBA students who have all these high quality traits already, high IQ, high achievements. So a lot of these people already have a lot of the prerequisite things that may be needed to further drive success. Um, and I think they did a similar study with just university students, and something similar popped up. And in the book, The One Thing, um, they cited a scientific study where basically all people of different occupations were surveyed: lawyers, marketers, accountants, and they did a similar thing. And they found that around like 37% of the people, 37% of people um, who no, let me just rephrase that. Basically, the people who wrote out their goals from that 300 population of people surveyed were 34% better at achieving their goals than everyone else. Um, and that's quite amazing. Like just writing them out, I think what it does is it reminds you, and it may just be a simple thing, but I think a lot of people have goals, but during the day, the hour, the minute, they forget them. And for me, from my personal experience, it can be weeks or months. You can have these goals in the back of your head, but just consistently reminding yourself, it sort of acts as a guide, so that when you're walking around, um, you get reoriented, and the more frequently you get reoriented as you're walking forward in life, um, the more accurate you will walk towards your goal, and therefore it'll take you less steps to get to your goal. But if you're not reminding yourself of your priorities constantly, what will happen is um, each time you forget to remind yourself, you start steering towards other directions because of all the things in life that distract you, and then you're wasting energy and time walking away from your goal until you get reoriented again whenever you are reminded about what your goals are. So the more frequent the reorientation, I think, is one factor why this is so great. And so I want to challenge you to write in the comments your number one goal in life. And you can be as detailed as you want, but I just want your top priority goal, not top five, just top one. And that'll be your first step in writing out your goals. And if you really want, you can include your top two. But I want those in the comments below. And again, typing is not as good as writing them out, but it's a step in the right direction. And I just want to conclude this video with um, just a few quotes from Gary Keller's book, The One Thing, that I found very useful. Um, he said that the most successful people in life that I've met are the ones that are most productive. And this is a man who, from what I can tell from the book, knows what he's talking about, because apparently he said that he didn't intend it to turn out this way, but everyone he's worked for became a millionaire. And through observation, he's seen that the most productive people in life are the most successful. And uh, what he's also said is that you want to reorient yourself so that you're spending your time and focusing on the things that you do that create disproportionate returns. And what I think he means by that is that the things that produce the most fruitful returns based off your limited time spent on them, you want to double down and spend even more time on those things. And that's all I wanted to say. If you found this video helpful, please share it however you want, so that it can be reached to people that you want to impact or influence in your life, and help along their journeys. And if you're not a subscriber, you can hit the subscribe button down below. It'll let you know when my next video comes out. Thank you guys for watching. Leave this video a like, and I will, I don't know what I'll do. I'll do a jig. Thanks for watching.